beneficent, most merciful. Dear students, today we will discuss morphology. We have the topics of today. We have morphology, morphemes, free and bound morphemes, lexical and functional morphemes, derivational and inflectional morphemes, morphological description, and morphs and allomorphs. Now, morphology is the study of word formation. The basic unit in the study of morphology is morpheme. Now, a morpheme or a morph is a minimal unit of meaning or grammatical function. Units of grammatical function include forms used to indicate past tense or plural. For example, the police reopened the investigation. Now, the word reopen consists of three morphemes. One minimal unit of the meaning, that is the word open. Another minimal unit of meaning is re, and a minimal unit of grammar function is ed, which indicates the past. Another example is tourists. Now, tour is one minimal unit of meaning, the main one, the main word, the basic. The last part, est, that is the suffix, is again another minimal unit of a word. And the last part, that is a minimal unit of a grammatical function, that is include or indicate the plural. Now, morphemes are two types. We have two types of morphemes. We have free morphemes and bound morphemes. Now, free morphemes are morphemes that can stand by themselves as signal words. For example, a word like open, tour, table, man, chair. Now, these words are called as morphemes, free morphemes. Why? Because they can stand by themselves. The second type of morphemes is bound morphemes. And bound morphemes are morphemes that cannot normally stand alone and are typically attached to another form, to another word. For example, this part, the prefix part, re, this is a bound morpheme. And that alone, we cannot say that this is a word. We say this is a part, prefix, because it cannot normally stand alone. We have to attach re with open to say reopen. Est is again a suffix. It is a bound morpheme. And ed again is another bound morpheme. And these bound morphemes do not stand alone. Now, free morphemes can generally be identified as the set of separate English word forms, such as, for example, basic nouns, basic adjectives, verbs, and so on. When free morphemes are used with bound morphemes attached, the basic word forms are technically known as stems. For example, if we go back to reopen, a word reopen. Now, this part, open alone, is called as stem. This word, open, is called as stem, technically known as stem. Here we have one more example. Undressed or carelessness. Now, the word dress is a free morpheme. It stands alone. and also it is called as stem. Why? Because we have two parts added, a prefix on and a suffix ed. So this part dress is called as a free stem, and on is bound prefix, and it again is another bound, but it is a suffix. Now, free morphemes also consist of two classes, two categories. One is called as lexical morphemes, and the other one is called as functional morphemes. Now, the lexical morphemes, ordinary nouns, adjectives, and verbs that we think of as the words that carry the content, the meaning of the messages we convey. For example, as a lexical morpheme, a word girl, free lexical morpheme. A word like man, again it's a free lexical morpheme. House, lexical morpheme, it's a free. Tiger, again lexical morpheme, it is a free lexical morpheme. Sad as a verb, it is also as free lexical morpheme. And of course, if you just look to the to a word sad, long, yellow, open, you find that nothing is added, either at the beginning or at the end. And the lexical morphemes are also described as an open morpheme, free lexical open morpheme. The functional morphemes are conjunctions, prepositions, articles, and pronouns. For example, words like and, but, when, because, on, near, above, and so on, they are called as free morpheme, and they are functional morphemes, and they are described as closed. Now, the bound morphemes are also divided or consist of two categories: derivational morphemes and inflectional morphemes. The derivational morphemes are used to make new words. For example, a word like care, we can also say careful. So we add a suffix full. So from care to careful, now here we derive a new word, and new word, that is careful. Care again, if we just change or add the suffix less into care, it becomes as careless. So care is a word, and we also have careless, that is a new word. Foolish is another example. Here we add the suffix ish to fool, so it becomes as a new word. Quick into quickly, payment into pay into payment. So ment is a suffix added to pay, that is a bound morpheme. Now, reopen, re is a prefix which is added to open, and again re is a bound morpheme. We use bound morphemes or derivational morphemes to make a new word. The second category of bound morphemes is inflectional morphemes. And here inflectional morphemes are used to indicate aspects of grammatical function of a word. In English, we have only 8 inflectional morphemes. For example, I have mentioned here, I have written 4 sentences, and I will tell you about the 8 inflectional morphemes. Now, the first sentence is, Jim's 2 sisters are really different. Now, the first is This is called as inflectional morpheme, and this is the possessive S. So the first inflectional morpheme or morphemes is the possessive S. The second one is here is the plural S. Number two is one likes to have fun and is always laughing. Now this S is used with the third person singular. Laughing, the ing form, that is a present participle. Next is the ed form, the past tense, as the other liked to read and has always taken things seriously. Taken, the en here is the past participle. Number 7 is using est with loud comparative. One is the loudest person in the house and the other is quieter than a mouse. Now number 7 is comparative and the last one is superlative. Now let me just remind you, with the 8 inflectional morphemes in English, we have possessive S using the plural S, and the S also for the third person singular in the present simple tense. Next is present participle using the ing form in the present. Next is the ed form, the past tense, and the past participle tense. Number 7 is using comparative form, and the last one is superlative. And of course inflectional morphemes are all, as you see, suffixes. Remember this. This diagram shows you the summary for morphemes. Now as I said, we have 2 types of morphemes. We have free morphemes and bound morpheme or morphemes. Now the free morpheme or a free morpheme is divided into lexical and functional. The free morpheme is divided into lexical and functional. Now some examples of lexical: child, teach, big, small, chair. Could be a noun, an adjective, a verb. And functional is and, the, conjunctions, prepositions, articles. But the bound morpheme is divided into derivational and inflectional. The first category is derivational, and derivational is using a prefix or a suffix to be added at the beginning as a prefix or to the end of a word as a suffix. And of course this part or these 2 parts of course create a new word, like open, reopen. Careless, carelessness, or care into careless. Again, it is a new word. Now the second category of bound morpheme is inflectional, and we have some examples here of inflectional. That it could be the plural S, or it could be a possessive S, or the ed form. Here I have mentioned the inflectional morphemes, and we say that in English we have 8 inflectional morphemes. We have possessive S, third person singular in the simple present tense, present participle using the ing form, past tense by using the ed or irregular form also, we have past participle, and number 7 is comparative, and the last inflectional form of grammar in English is superlative. How do we describe a sentence? Now, a sentence like, the child's wildness shocked the teachers. We need to describe each part of this sentence. Now, as you see, the is one word, is a part, child, and s, wild, ness, shock, ed form, the, teach, er, and s. We'll start with the first one. The is written here as functional. If we go back, functional, it is here as an article. It is a free functional morpheme. Yes. Now, child is a lexical word, lexical morpheme. It stands alone and it has a meaning. Now, the s is inflectional. Why? Because this is a possessive s, and it is bound inflectional morpheme. A word like wild is a lexical, and of course we can say also it is a stem. Ness is derivational, it is a suffix added to the word lexical. Shock is a verb, it is a lexical morpheme, it is a stem also because ed is added. The ed form is inflectional morpheme, and we have again another article that is the, that is again functional morpheme. Teacher is divided into two parts. Teach is a verb, again it is a lexical, and er derivational, it is a suffix which is added to a lexical and it changes the meaning, a new word as a verb into noun, and the meaning also is different. And the last s is plural. Of course, this is one of the, if you go back, it is one of the 8 inflectional morphemes. That is inflectional s. Finally, we will talk about morphs and allomorphs. A word like cats consists of two morphs, cat and s, a lexical morpheme that is cat, and inflectional morpheme that is s. Another example, buses. Again, buses consist of two morphs, bus as a lexical morpheme and es as an inflectional morpheme. Now, the s or es are called as allomorphs. A word like sheep and man. The plural form of sheep is again sheep. We do not add s or es. It is irregular. Man into men. And in sheep we say that the form here, the allomorph is 0 because we do not have allomorph. So we say that sheep is 0 allomorph. Man again is a irregular word. The plural of man is men. So we do not have s or es. So it is called as 0 allomorphs. But A word like, for example, city. If we add es, it becomes S-T-I-I-E-S. Cities. So, cities consist, or a word, cities consist of two morphs. We have city and I-E-S. So the I-E-S here is called as allomorphs. Why? Because it is of the same group, same class, or same category of S or ES. But the irregular form, as I said, sheep, man, for example, child into children again, they are called as zero allomorphs. For more examples, please do exercises 1, 2. In 2 we have A, B, and C. Do 3 again, A, B, C, and D. And also exercise 4 in page 74. And hope to see you again in another lecture. See you again. I wish you all the best. Thank you.